They'll go to school in the evening, they'll come back in the next morning just in preparation for a particular exam. And on getting to the examination hall, everything will automatically disappear. Don't think that you actually forgot when you enter the examination hall. No, the thing happened immediately after you stop reading. So some of us will feel like it was when I got to the examination hall, my friend just touched my pen, then everything just evaporated. It's a lie. Like me, sometimes I do fall sick during exam because of stress and all that. So, but I make sure I read early. So even if I fall sick during exam, I am not disturbed because everything they are already in the head. What kind of questions that might come out from this particular passage, or from this particular chapter, or from this particular paragraph in my examination? After cramming, like, isolate yourself. Your brain might have forgotten what you studied, but your hand will not forget because the brain and the hand was involved during the learning process. Will I fail this exam? And some of them will even pray that, God, please give me a D. Let me just leave this school. Good day, everyone. I'll be getting a lot of complaints from students, and this thing have actually happened in most institutes of learning, whereby a lot of students will prepare for a particular exam. They might even do a woko for a particular exam. What I mean by woko is till daybreak, which is they'll go to school in the evening, they'll come back in the next morning just in preparation for a particular exam. And on getting to the examination hall, maybe some things might still be in the head, but immediately they get the examination question, after looking at the questions there, everything will automatically disappear. And this, maybe some of them might even do prayer all night and everything, but at the end of the thing, the whole book, everything will become blank, their brain will become blank, and they will have nothing to write during the exam. Most of them will even cry during the course of writing their exam. They'll be crying that, it's my village people. Some of them, a lot of things might happen, and you have this thought in your head: is it possible that my village people are after me? Yes, they are after you. Another thought is, will I fail this exam? And some of them will even pray that, God, please give me a D. Let me just leave this school. At least not a carry over. These are things that have actually happened to a lot of students in most institutes of learning. And they have not even maybe thought of what is the cause of this. So in this particular video, I'm going to explain the possible cause of this and how this can be avoided. Even if you forget, maybe you have forgotten anything, maybe your examination hall, how you will be able to recall everything that you have read and what you have forgotten. In case you are meeting me for the first time, my name is Gideon Academy, an educationist, and I'm here to guide you through the path of not making mistake in any institution of learning. Sit back, relax, and make sure you watch this video to the end. One of the major reasons that can cause this is lack of preparation. Most of them, we don't really prepare for exam. Like lack of, let me use the word, adequate preparation. Most of us, what an author might use maybe 10 years to write a book, lecturer will use 3 months or even less to teach this particular course, and you as a student want to use 1 night to cram what an author use about 10 to 20 years to write. It's not possible. And that's one of the reasons why at the end of the OT we are going to be involved in over cramming. We are going to cram this, we are going to cram that, we are going to cram this, we are going to cram that. And most of us, after cramming, on get to the exam or after say the question, over excitement might even make you to forget everything again. You cram, you are not even happy again. You just forget everything, like everything will just go out of the head. So a student that do cram is not, you should not be too, don't talk during your exam. Don't even say a word during your exam. So most of all these things might be caused by inadequate preparation, lack of preparation. You didn't prepare so well. And sometimes over cramming, you go to Awoko 1 night to the exam or a night to the exam, then you cram everything from the beginning of the course down to the course. If they ask you what is matter, you now define energy inside. If they tell you what is energy, you now define water inside. At the end of the day, you don't even know what is what again. So in a situation like this, how can we even curb these students forgetting during their exam? If you have actually been in this situation before, there's need for you to apply a neurological science technique, which is called the active recall or the retrieval method of learning. Now, how do we apply this active recall or the retrieval recall of learning or method of learning? Okay, one of the steps involved in this technique is reading aloud, reading out aloud. So if you are a student that is preparing for exam, there are sometimes not really reading out aloud. Like if you want to, maybe you now go to school, you now be reading, it now is the name of any person animal to disturb others. That's not what I mean. What I mean simply is, If you are reading for a particular exam, when you are done with your book work, close the book, and whatever you have read, start saying it to someone else. So, according to Albert Einstein, he said, whatever you have in mind, if you can't explain it so well to someone else, that means you don't know that thing. So, that thing that you have in mind, that thing that you feel you have read, if you don't have the power to explain that thing to someone else you have not read, there's nothing in your brain. That's just the fact. So, don't think that you actually forgot when you enter the examination hall. No, the thing happened immediately after you stop reading. So some of us will feel like it was when I got to the examination or someone, my friend just touched my pen, then everything just evaporated. It's a lie. It was immediately after you close your book when you were done reading. And it's not supposed to be so. So most things actually fall a victim of this. So please, if you are done reading, close your book, talk to someone about what you have read. It might don't not like you have to like call a coursemate and then begin to explain what you have read to your coursemate. No, no, no. You might not have that time. So look for anybody at all. If you don't have anybody, pick up your phone, on your camera, then start talking to your phone. There is a mirror there, you can talk to him. One of the reasons why you are going to have a conversation with maybe inanimate object is not because you want the person to you want the object to know what you are saying. It's for you to check if truly you have read. So if you're able to explain yourself so well to the mirror or to the person at all, then that means truly you have been able to recall. But if you were unable to do that, then you have to pick up the book again and start reading. Then you go back to the process and start giving your speech again. Then the second step I have there is for you as a student, whenever you are reading any particular, any book at all, establish question yourself, form your own question. Let's say you are reading, let me narrow this to chemistry. You are reading about organic chemistry. The first thing is that after reading a particular paragraph, ask yourself, it predicts your examination possible question. What kind of question that might come out from this particular passage or from this particular chapter or from this particular paragraph in my examination? So if you're able to look, if you're able to predict a question, write the question down. Maybe what's organic chemistry? Go to the next paragraph. After writing, list the class of organic chemistry. So you have to like ask yourself questions that may likely come out in the exam. So when you are done reading, then look at those questions, answer those questions. So if you're unable to answer those questions, that means there is nothing in the head. You have to go back to the book again, read the book again, then go back to the question and answer them correctly. So that is how to read actively. It's not just don't be a passive reader, because some of us they will tell you that I read for like 20 hours, I can read for like 10 hours, I can read for like 15 hours. But at the end of the whole thing, if you tell them that how many pages have you read from here to here, okay, yeah, let me ask you 5 questions from these pages. They cannot even answer half out of the five because they were not involved in active reading. What they were just doing is more of looking at the pictures. As some of us, we tend to read for like 5 minutes. After reading, we spend 1 hour on TikTok. From TikTok, we enter YouTube. From YouTube, we now remember, oh, I was reading. I'm now come back to the book again. I'm not studying for another 5 minutes. It's not supposed to be so. Whenever you are reading, if you feel like your phone is a temptation, please shut down the phone, because at the end of the whole thing you are going to say is your village people, not knowing that it's truly is the phone that is that you are using for your TikTok that's actually the village people. So please be involved in active reading. If you feel like your phone is a distraction, put it on the flight mode. Nobody should even call you. If you feel anything that is going to distract you from your reading, put that thing on a flight mode. That thing should not disturb you. The third step I have here is reading early. Most then they don't want to read at the beginning of the semester. Now, we all know that even before school resume, you already know when you can predict the time for your exam. So I can say as at the day of resumption, you already know when you are going to write your exam, but students will not read by then. They'll be like, exam is still far, exam is still far. And most of them will not even attend classes, which is very, very bad. So as a student, attend your classes, not just that, read early, involve yourself in, look for people that read on time early, then read with them. Like me, sometimes I do fall sick during exam because of stress and all that. So, but I make sure I read early. So even if I fall sick during exam, I am not disturbed because everything they are already in the head. And if I a student that cram, according to my lecturer, if you cram, if the examination venue, like give the examination venue 2 meters away, if possible, 200 meters away. So if the examination venue is there, stay far away from the examination venue. One of the reasons why I said so is because if you are close to the examination venue, you are going to see your friends, and before you know, you have a conversation with your friends. Oh, how are you? How is it? And remember, you crammed though, and you are talking to people that read, that studied. You that cram, you are distracting people that are studied, or people that are studied, they are distracting you that cram. At the end of the whole thing, you will forget everything. So when you see the first question, what is a carboxylic acid? The first thing that will come to your mind is maybe the gist, the hot gist that they were giving to you, what was happening on TikTok, what was happening on Instagram. That's the only thing that will come to the mind. And later you say it's village people. It's not village people. After cramming, like, isolate yourself. If someone should even greet you, let's say, Gito Academy, good morning, sir. Organic chemistry can be defined as a carbon. You respond with what you have crammed, not by saying good morning. Because when you respond by saying good morning, some things might evaporate, and you don't want that to happen during your exam. So if you cram, please stay away from people before your exam. After the exam, you can apologize to them. Sorry for what happened. No, my head was I was feeling headache, or the head was, things were just too much in the hair. I have to like calm down. It's better that way than you forgetting the examination hall. Another way to be involved in active reading or active learning is, if you are done with what you have read, close the note, summarize it. There's this thing I do say: if what you have crammed, if you forgot what you crammed, your hand will not forget. So your brain might forget, but your hand will not forget, because after reading, you're able to summarize. And me, I don't summarize once. I can define. I'm very poor at cramming. I don't know how to cram. So I tend to study. So I can't cram. That's not me. So if you are a type that cram, or if you are a type that study, write more. If you are done with the whole, maybe you define, let's say, organic chemistry is chemistry study of carbon. You write organic chemistry, chemistry study of carbon. Organic chemistry, chemistry study of carbon. If you have written that more than 10 times, in the examination, if someone asks you what is organic chemistry, like me, if you ask me any question during the exam, what is organic chemistry, I can't tell you. I will be like, I know this thing before, but I will tell you that if you give me a paper and a pen, I will be able to define it for you. Why? Because the brain has forgotten, but the hand will never forget. So when I write organic chemistry, the next word will now come in is, the next word D. That's how I'll be able to finish the whole work I've studied. So your brain might have forgotten what you studied, but your hand will not forget, because the brain and the hand was involved during the learning process. So some of us, we read some, maybe you are reading mathematics as if you are reading novel, you are reading chemistry as if you are reading novel, and you want to pass the exam. It's not done that way. The brain will even forget before the exam, and your hand will not have anything to support the brain with. So at the end of the whole thing, there will be a massive or a total failure. There are some students I do look at, I let me not say I laugh at, but I look at them in a way during the examination period. They will come to the exam with a lot of books. For example, they come exam with a lot of books like this. They will not be like, now is the name of any person, animal, place, or things. Now is the name of any person, animal, place, or things. What is a pronoun? And you have exam in the next 5 minutes. If you must read before your exam, if you must read an hour to your exam, focus more. In fact, that morning of your exam, if you must read, focus 90% on what you have read. So it should be more of a revision than 10% on what you have not touched before. So not that you focus 90% on what you have not touched and 10% on what you have read. At the end of it, you are going to have a mix up of knowledge. Everything will just be combined, and then you forget a lot of things. So, and then you are reading already, you are using tension, you are reading based on maybe duress, tension, and there's nothing that will go into the brain. That's fact. So for those of us who maybe love reading an hour to the exam, don't that's why most of us do forget. So if you are a type that read an hour to the exam, you might be opening your book like this. No, don't do that. If you must read, revise. I said if you must read an hour to your exam, or in the morning of that your exam, revise. Spend more time on revision and spend less time on the new concept. I would have really loved to give you more techniques on how to actively recall what you have read during your examination. But something I realized that most of us, even the one I've given to you so far, you might not even be able to work with them, because you have already programmed yourself that you are going to read a 9 to the exam. And I assure you that if you read a 9 to the exam, there is 70% chances that you are going to forget immediately when you see your examination question. So if you don't want to cry after your exam, or if you don't want to be thinking that, God, will I have a D? Will I have this course as carryover? If you don't want to have this thought after your exam, please, I am begging you. It's not everything that your village people is doing. Sometimes your village people, they are even complaining that you disturb them a lot. You are even told them you are the one, you are the village people. So please, I want to beg you to avoid accusing your village people. Read on time, and I assure you, if you do so, your results will definitely be an excellent one. Thanks for watching. My name remains Guido Academy, and if you are not a subscriber of my YouTube channel, please do well to do so. If not, this might be the last time you're going to see my video. So if you want to see more of Guido's Academy video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you love what I do, don't forget to drop a comment, give this video a thumbs up. And if you have been involved in an art like this, maybe you read and at the end of the whole thing you forgot all that you have read, you can also drop your experience there. People will definitely learn from it and how you're able to overcome that. God bless you. See you when we see you again.